physical, could be emotional, could be sexual. Perhaps you could take us through just, I know just from the term itself, there's already a difference because one is physical, one is emotional, but what's the gravity of these three different types of traumas that people may go through?
When we look at trauma, there's no trauma that doesn't leave a pain.
Yeah.
So every trauma leaves a certain pain. For example, if you talk about physical involves beating, pinching, burning. We've seen all these things happening. And mostly they leave a scar. So when you look at a certain part, you always remember, a certain time I was burnt by my mother or my father, or I was beaten. So, and this pain, even if you don't have a scar, this is a way it feels. Because a trauma is a feeling. Yeah. It is a deep feeling experienced that time. So the physical one, it will involve the body part, the scars and everything else. The emotional one, it involves the words spoken, the action, the presentations, the footsteps, the walking style, the body language, the coldness, the loudness. So those are the emotional ones. People cannot see them or touch them, but they can feel them. The sexual one involves the unhonorable touch, sex itself, the activity itself, the threats, the near sexual action. So anything that, unclothing, experiencing adult performing sexual activity in your presence, bragging about sex. It's also an abuse to a child.
Oh, really?
And clothing in the presence of a child, bathing in the presence of a child. Because you see, children, especially from 0 to 7 years, those we call them formative years. And we look at 0 to 7 years, these are children that have not developed the body parts. And so, if you present your naked self, you are provoking the inquisitive mind to ask, what is wrong with me that I'm not like this person? Because you know, children most of the times is that they envy, they admire. The parents are their role models. So, when adults or caregivers present their naked bodies, they abuse these children. Yeah. Because the children will start feeling, maybe there's something wrong with me. Why am I not like so and so? Why am I not? Or even you present fear. If I grow, will I be like that person? So that is also an abuse.
Right.
Yes.
And for this sort of abuse, some of these cases really are not on this particular child, but it's something that they have witnessed. Because if you look at some of the experiences that people were sharing, it wasn't really physical violence meted on them, but on people close to them, their parents, and they could actually see this. And can we talk about that and just how much it also has an effect, same as if it's meted on you as well?
Yes. You see, in life, you are either affected or infected. You live within two areas. And so, most of the times is that we are affected by seeing the pain that people we value and love go through. And so when we see, for example, your mother, there is no person in the world who would wish to see her mother or his mother suffer. And so when your mother is beaten in your presence, the hope is gone because you're worried, will this person survive? Yeah. And if this person dies in my presence, who will raise me? Who will protect me? Because our parents are our security. And so it affects you because it kills your hope. The pain she goes through, you may not go through physically, but emotionally. We are saying it is deep emotional wounds. Yeah, yeah. So emotionally, you are affected. It shatters you from having a positive thought to a negative thought. And the person that is beating this person, you are like, maybe this person might turn to me. So even as you witness your mother being beaten, you're like, because you see, people that beat others in your presence, they don't just focus on them. They beat them looking at your reaction. And so when this person looks at you, you wonder, will it come to me? That is why children will hide under the bed. They don't want to see this person being beaten. And they are also afraid this person might turn it on them. On them.
Right.
Yes.
Earlier on, you also talked about the formative years. You said 0 to 7 years are the formative years. And for this child, have they really developed, and do they understand their surrounding enough for them to remember things that happened when they were 7 years of age?
When a child is in the uterus, that a uterus is a home for this child for 9 months, the child is able to feel the emotions of the mother. That is why we talk of a healthy moment, stress-free environment when you're carrying a baby. Because that environment, the feelings of the mother can tell the child something is not okay with the environment. Okay. When the child is born, the environment has to be conducive. If it is not conducive, the child will know. For example, when the child cries for a long time without someone coming for help, it means that this child is abandoned. And that is why people are so clingy in relationships. They are afraid to be left by a spouse. It carries throughout life. That child was 3 months, 1 month, 2 weeks, and the child was not attended to. Abandonment was born that time. And so the child grew fearing. And so, because they fear to be abandoned, they please. That is where people pleasing come from. Right. You may think this is a small baby, but this is an alive person. We talk of life start at conception. And so as you carry this baby is aware of the environment. 0 to 7, it is a formative age, because this time children cannot express a lot, but they can see. Remember, children learn through observation. They have an observant mind. And then they learn through consumption. They consume what we present. Children feel love through touch. You may not talk, but the way you look at the child, the way you listen, the way you touch this child, your walking style. At home, years back, we used to know that our parents are tough and they're coming to us. The way they walked, footsteps, were they so strong? That is danger. Are they calm? That is love. The way you receive your child when the child wakes up, that is a sign of love. That you've woken up, oh wow, come to me. You know, when you carry the child, the body contact, the skin-to-skin body contact, the soft feel that you're okay under my arms, that is talking to a child. So when we talk of 0 to 3 months, 0 to 2 years, that those children are not talking, but they can see. Yes.
And it sort of remains in their head.
Exactly.
Like images and
everything it is in the brain. We have 2 parts, the short-term memory and the long-term memory. The long-term memory is the bank of our lives. That is why today I can retrieve everything that happened in my childhood. I may not remember what happened in my youth a lot, but I want to tell you every step of my childhood is so much stored in my long-term memory. Yes.
Interesting. Now, I know you've already touched on some of the symptoms that may bring out that you faced an experience in your childhood that is manifesting. You've talked about people-pleasing behaviors. You've talked about clinginess. Do these signs and symptoms manifest later on in adults specifically, or you can already see them even through, let's say, high school period, campus period? You can already see, and this is an indicator that there's a trauma that is deep inside that you may not really know about.
Mostly when after 7 years, when children, if you are an observant parent, you start seeing, okay, for teachers they see children that have some funny behavior. For example, you see children that they want a certain friend. Those are from 8 years, 7 years, those ones. They want a certain friend and they don't want this friend to have another friend. So friendship issues are here. They are not able to allow other friends to play. When we go to teenagers, is that you realize that they are teenagers. The moment they form a group, whether that group takes them in the pit holes, they don't care. They are just in that group. And those groups, sometimes they are so sabotaging, but these teenagers are there. They are taken to places that they never thought they could be, but they are comfortable being there because they want to please these groups. People pleasing. When we go to young adults, you realize that there are people that are highly independent. These people is that they will never ask for help. They'll never even say that I need. They are always independent. And they are so much misused by family members. Because people know them as people that can sacrifice.
Yeah, no matter what.
No matter what, they will be there. Somebody that can stand there for family members. We have seen people that have gotten very good jobs. And their parents can make ends meet, but they take the entire family and start educating the family.
Yeah.
And they neglect themselves. By a certain time went, and you realize that when all their siblings are through with the school, they have nothing to show. Those are traumas.
But someone would argue and say, you know, they're being dependent upon by the family, and they wouldn't want to just walk away and let them struggle. That's why they want to come in and help.
You know, that is creating codependence. Because you see, parents can make ends meet. I want to tell you that. Parents can knock doors, and doors can open. What these people should be doing, they should be helping, not taking the entire burden. Yeah. Because there are some parents, the moment they see their children earning, they stop working. They stop going to working on their farms.
Yeah.
They stop, and they just stop being. Shopping has to be done every month. Bills have to be paid in the house by these children. They literally live under these children. And they want you to keep up with their budgets. So those are traumas that were there then. Codependence is created this time. And what I keep on telling people, it is okay to help. But as you help people, make people understand that there is a level you can't. Yes.
Yeah. And how do these traumas affect somebody's brain and just ability to function well, or even their body? Because largely the decisions we'll now make in our adult life will be based on those particular traumas and those experiences that we went to. And so how do they affect our brains? How do they affect our bodies?
They affect in every way, because you see, childhood traumas mostly, for example, negligence, for example, abuse, all those the traumas that you see, what they do is that, one, they affect our relationships. Sometimes people marry, people with same traumatic experiences, they marry each other. And they don't marry each other because it is the way they should. They marry because they think this one will understand what I went through, because we share the same thing. But mostly this is not true. You see, they've given you low self-esteem. Yeah. You're not able to find someone who is vibrant, somebody who who is living, somebody who tells you that, let us have this, let's do this, let's just be happy with ourselves. So those people, you fear them. That is why you see people who have gone through childhood traumas, they want to marry people that have gone through the pain they've gone through. And so the pain and pain stay together. Again, you see that people who have gone through that, they have money, but they don't want to enjoy life. They have good jobs, but they want still to live in the shackles that they were even before. Choices, that is relationships, choices, even the kind of job you choose. For example, you realize that there are some bosses that are very, very rude. They are very unkind to their employees. But the employees, they are still there. No matter the abusive, the vulgar languages they use. So demeaning, but the employees are still there. They can never resign, they can never go anywhere. And not because they don't have the capacity. Some are qualified, they have the papers, but they cannot dare apply somewhere. Other people is that when they, for example, you've seen people in Africa saying, when people get money, they are worshiping the devil. Those are presentations of trauma. Is it that you can't just work and earn? Can't you just multiply finances? Yeah. Because trauma ties people not to think positively. Yeah. It gives them negative thoughts, because the negativity world is what they know. Yeah. They don't know the other positive world. There are people that if you tell them to go for holiday, they will never agree, because they will say you're wasting money. Why? Because they were brought up to feel that every support they get, it is because they are doing 1, 2, 3 things. You've seen parents say, and I carried you for 9 months. My daughter told me not to tell her that again. I carried you for 9 months.
Yeah.
You cannot even wash the cup.
Oh,
you know, guilt tripping.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So these people, they are not meant to enjoy anything, not unless it is given in a certain way. Okay? There are people that will never tell people, you are hurting me, because they are giving them money.
Okay.
So it carries the whole of our lives.
Right.
Yes.
What are some of the physical symptoms that somebody who's gone trauma may be able to, I'd say, to show physical symptoms? You know, we've talked about the mental ones and the behavioral aspect. Are there any physical symptoms that somebody may be able to portray?
Yes, anger, abuse, physical, abusive, you know, person. We also have bullies.
Yeah.
Especially bullies, especially in social media. Matusi in a roll.
Yeah. All round.
All round. You know, physical bullying, self-negligence. There are people who don't do self-care at all, at all. They can never go to salon, they can't agree to massage, they cannot go to hospital when they are feeling unwell, unless you find them, you carry this person to the car and to the hospital.
What do you mean they can't go for a massage, McKenna?
They can't. They can't just pay someone to massage their feet and maybe their hands and even their body. They can't. They feel like maybe they were raped and so they're afraid of this person touching their body. Or maybe they've never been had a physical touch, healthy one, from the mother. You know, contact, the physical contact with the mother through carrying, through, you know, when you carry a baby and then you're touching the legs, the hands, then the cheeks and everything. That one allows people to feel free with their body and to say that this part is not well. So they can't agree to that. They cannot allow, they cannot go to buy, especially new clothes. They can't buy new clothes. Not unless you've been using a cloth, then you give it to them. Not even at a fee, just give them. And the people that you're giving have stored millions and millions in their accounts. We are not talking about people that are not able. We are talking about people that God has blessed. They cannot give themselves something. They can't buy a car. They cannot shift to a new neighborhood. Those are physical things that you can see. They can never pay anything for their children. They cannot buy pizza for their children. They cannot take their children for an outing, even to see lions. They can't. Everything is tied to the impact. How much will I earn? We are wasting money. So you're meant to feel like you're not important. Loneliness. People are not even able to relate. People, trust issues. They can't agree to share part of them with the friends. People fear what friends will think about them. We are so much afraid of if my friend knows I'm suffering. And that is why we are not able to be helped, because we don't stretch for help. There are many. Yes.
All right. I believe the first step towards dealing with any sort of trauma, mental health or issue that you may have is just the self-awareness. And is there an appropriate time to which you become self-aware and say, okay, this is a problem and it is clearly manifesting because of this experience or this trauma from my childhood? Because if you look at some of those sentiments, perhaps somebody really never thought about it that way until they saw somebody post and say, this is what happened. How is there an appropriate age where you start becoming self-aware? And now what sort of help and support do you seek?
Okay, what happens is that sometimes self-awareness is presented to people. For example, in our places of worship, you start, when people start talking about take care of yourself, take care of yourself. Yes, you're taking care of people, but also take care of yourself. And a moment you try to take care of yourself and feel nice, so you continue doing it. But when it comes to self-awareness, there's no certain age. There are people that have retired from employment and now they've started becoming self-aware of themselves. And these are the people that are crying, saying that I wasted all my years doing. I was misused by my siblings and now they can't even answer my call. These are people that are now started being self-aware of themselves. There are people that are in campus today and they've started discovering, oh, that was not nice, oh, that
Yeah.
was not okay. They are teenagers who have started discovering themselves. Like today, we thank God for CBE, curriculum-based education, because it has a lot of topics on mental health. So we are evolving as a nation, and people are now becoming self-aware, though it is still quite far. So that is the work that we do, to create self-awareness to people and talk about the world. Yes.
What sort of support should they be seeking once you discover and identify the gap and the problem? What should be the next step ideally?
There are quite a number of things, but the key ones are, one, you need to sit down and just say, what was that? You know, that is to acknowledge this thing was not okay with me. For example, if there are people that have never found a functional home, because around the village there were dysfunctions. So the moment they find functional families, they start saying that I would like to have such. Even for the youths, they start talking about functional life. That even helping people, it's good, but can't these people also do something for themselves? That is awareness. Saying that you gave me this work to do and I have done it, what else can I do? And if this person becomes so unkind, they are able to say, but you're not kind to me. That is all self-awareness. Self-awareness is telling people, I'm not comfortable with this.
Able to speak up for yourself.
Able to speak up for yourself and present what you say. And then also self-awareness is showing people how you like them to treat you. For example, if you realize that people are abusive to you, you step aside, even if you're in the same family. Have you ever seen whereby people are in one family, but one is so busy doing their own things, and when people are just arguing, they go to the bedroom and lock themselves? Those are people that have already started awakening. Yes.
Okay. Now I'd love to bring up some of these situations I believe are very important, especially for this age where you may have somebody who's self-aware as early as in their early 20s, some in their late 20s or even early 30s, and these are people who are planning on starting families. Some have already started their own families, and they are really intentional on breaking the cycle and not manifesting this on their kids or even on other people's children. What would they be doing different when they're raising their own kids? Because that's perhaps the biggest fear. Some say, you know, because of this that I went through, I'm even scared of having children or getting a child when they get in, I might start portraying these behaviors on them.
Okay, again, I like saying, let me talk something. When people have gone through trauma, they might become the worst parents. Because one thing, they are aware, and everything they went through, they think that it affected them negatively. Sometimes some things that are presented in the world, they help us learn. So even if you've gone through trauma, you are not supposed to fail to guide your children with love, but also to caution them for discipline purposes. So people that have gone through trauma, you realize that they don't like taking their children through a disciplinary lifestyle, whereby children are taught to be kind, children are taught to care for the environment, children are taught to work hard, so they do everything for their children. And so what happens is that they create children that are so much dependent on parents. So when these parents die, by God forbid, these children immediately they jump into the street. They become street children. Because you see, trauma, if not well addressed, it turns out to be to produce children that cannot help themselves. So what these parents need to do is that, one, they need to acknowledge this is what we went through, but what are we supposed to do to our children so that they cannot turn out to be indisciplined, and so that they cannot turn out to be children that are not resilient, because the world is not kind. Even the sun itself It's not kind, and it's so natural. Rain. If it's raining, you have to hide.
Yeah.
Look for shelter. So there's nothing that is kind. And so because the world is hostile, we need to do a preparation. We prepare our children. So we prepare our children from our comfort zone and from our uncomfortable zones.
Yeah.
For example, we have to learn that the fact that we were beaten will not beat our children.
Yeah.
But why were we beaten by our parents? We were beaten because we used to do 1, 2, 3 things. What will happen when our children do the same? So they have to agree on how to help them. So they have to, from their discomfort, they have to channel a way that will help them discipline their children, bring up children that have confidence. Because you see, traumas will make you have very low self-esteem,
Yeah.
hiding, all those things. When you hide a lot, you not present your talents. You not even find jobs that can pay you very well. Or you not even do things. For example, there are people that are not working, they're in business, maybe in farming, but they can never sell their product without shame. You see? So everything needs resilience, but everything has to be well planned.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know there are individuals who have got that legitimate fear of actually having children, and they will never even want to perhaps get to that point where they have children. That's quite a legitimate fear. Are they able to eventually overcome that and decide, okay, parenting, I can do it? Yeah.
So there are people that naturally, they don't want to have children. Some not because of trauma. Some because they feel that they can't. They know very well they can't be there. Others, it's because of trauma. Even when they overcome trauma, they don't want to raise children, to have biological children. But what's the funny thing with this is that most of these people that say they don't want children, they become foster parents. I'll take care of that child, but not with me.
Yeah.
Most of them, they foster. If you go to most children's home, you realize that most children there, they have people that go present themselves as parents, but they've not.
Yeah.
They will not take them to live with them. Some because of their schedule of work, some because of their own lifestyles, they don't want to have these children, and some because they don't want. They know they have trauma, they don't want to work on their traumas, and they want to live with it. For example, there are people that are never at home. They are drunkards. They have to party every weekend, and they don't want to have a different lifestyle. And so they feel that, why should I stop my lifestyle to take care of a human being? Can I take care of them when they are there? So people have different opinions. Some, it's not even because of trauma. Some, it's just a lifestyle they want.
It's a decision they made.
It's a decision they've made.
Okay. Now, one of the most common phrases I hear is that one of the most important decisions you can make is marrying right. And earlier on you mentioned about people with traumas now deciding, because you understand me, let's do this life together. Before you even say yes to this person, are there, you're able to perhaps sense and see that these are people whose childhood wasn't quite as smooth as it may have been, and you think, oh, eventually he or she will be okay and we can get over it and just journey on with life. At that point, is that a decision that you can make that is right, that, let's just, he'll get over it, he or she will get over it, they will be okay eventually? Or do you have to deal with it at that particular courtship period before you even say yes to this person? Okay,
you see, traumas are in the subconscious mind. And traumatic experiences are many.
Yeah.
But what happens is that they come out after a trigger. Something triggers them to remember what happened. And so when we talk about self-care or doing self-care before marriage, is that you can never do everything. Because this is life, you're still living,
Yeah.
You can never do everything. So what happens is that if you want to marry someone and you realize that they have triggers, they have trauma experiences. The one thing that you need to ask yourself, have they acknowledged that they have this trigger or they have this trauma? Have they acknowledged? If they've not acknowledged, then you cannot acknowledge for them, because they may deny, they may say no.
I think you need to repeat that point. It's very important.
Yes, they have. You can never go telling people you have trauma. I see you that you are presenting trauma, because some may throw that onto you. You know, they'll bring things and they'll twist your life.
Yeah.
Why don't you choose the best? If you don't want somebody who is going through, if you want someone who can, because you see, for someone to acknowledge traumatic experiences, is that they keep on talking about it. I didn't like when I was growing up. I didn't admire. I didn't acknowledge. So what you need to ask this person is that, are you working on it? So that opens a conversation. A person that is willing to speak about themselves, it shows that this person is willing to work it out. That's one. Yeah. Then the second thing is that you need to talk about it when it comes to marriage. That is courtship. I went through this and I want to work it through. Will you help me? And the other one says, if the other one says that they never went through traumatic experiences, and let me say this, not every child in Kenya has been traumatized. Yeah. There are those that have enjoyed a beautiful childhood. So when they find people that have gone through trauma, they help them, but not unless you acknowledge.
Yeah. And decide to do the hard
Yes. Even if you court for 20 years, without acknowledging your weaknesses, it will never bear fruits. Yeah. Courtship has to involve the weaknesses that you find in the other person. But they have to acknowledge their weaknesses first. Yes.
Right. That's quite an important aspect, because I believe in this Kenya we've got a problem of identifying other people's problems even before they can, and we always want to solve it, but you know, there are some which they need to solve it by themselves.
Yes.
So as we wrap this conversation up, McKenna, you know, if you looked at that particular post,
yes,
the numbers really told a story. They were good, as you said, not every child has gone through trauma, and so there are those people who were able to just say, you know, for them it was different. They went through a very wonderful childhood, but majority went through such a troubling childhood and a troubling experience. For those who've not really gone through it, how can they show support and grace for these people? Because you may not necessarily marry them, but these are people you share an office with. These are people you perhaps go to school with. How can you extend grace in such a way that you're able to really make them feel like, you know, as much as it happened, you know, you're still a good person and you can get over it?
Yes, but you see, traumatic experiences are so traumatizing.
Some don't speak about it.
They're so traumatizing, and what happens is that some people, not some people, almost everyone that has gone through a childhood trauma, they're so irritating. Because of their attitude towards, sometimes you just have a soft conversation. You're talking about something. And let me say that people don't brag about their lives. People are comfortable talking about their lives. For example, they will say, when we were small, you know, I remember daddy used to, and then sometimes we are so uncomfortable with them, but they are not bragging. It is their experience that they are sharing. And so for you to be helped, one thing, sit down and say, why am I feeling bad when so-and-so is talking about themselves? Yeah. And when people are talking about their good childhood, you realize that they are not even attentive. They are just talking, because that is what they experienced. If you know that you have someone who has gone through trauma, you have to be calm. Because these people, they just wait for a trigger to irritate you. And that is why they make working environment very toxic. People that have gone trauma can be toxic. They make even places of worship, they make them very toxic. Somebody is a praise and worship team, but they cannot agree with others. Places of worship, that there's nothing paid. Church groups, the same. Community-based organizations, the same. You know, so people that have gone through trauma are very hard to work with. Not unless you are calm, and you have to choose where you come in. You cannot be coming into their spaces all the time. You have to choose where you come in them. Right. When they are willing to listen, or when they are willing to talk, that is when you come in that space and help them. But if they are not presenting an environment that can be conducive for a communication, please keep your peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So for somebody that is watching and would love to just reach out, perhaps they have, from this conversation, something has triggered inside of them and they've remembered incidences and they would love to get help. They would love to change their behaviors. They'd love to stop this pattern and change this pattern. How do they reach you?
They can reach me. My name is Elestuta McKenna Kaumbuthu. I run my Facebook, my TikTok social media account are Elestuta McKenna, and I can be reached on the number 0720 587673. 0720 587673.
Right.
I am the founder of an organization called Sparks Mentors, and we do mentorships, we do trainings, consultancies, among the many things we do. So feel free to see us, to talk to us. We are willing to help.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Elestuta McKenna is a counseling psychologist as well as a family therapist for coming in to just shed light on this particular conversation. It is something for me that was a conversation starter, and you know, it just speaks to the depths of just what happens in families and just how people really don't speak about it. And then growing up later, they come to realize, oh, so this is how it was. And it is important that we get to the inner core of ourselves and just identify where the problem is so that the pattern ends with you. Like, as I always say, the pattern should end with you. So thank you for watching this morning. We hope that you're duly impacted and duly informed. And see you at 1 p.m. for the News at 1 bulletin. But for now, have yourself a wonderful morning. My name is Cynthia Nanjana.
Thank you.
You are watching EBN TV.